Hey guys, Satyajit here and you're watching Satyajit's artwork. This video is going to be a bit different than my other videos because this time I'm going to do a talk through painting that was actually suggested by a subscriber of mine. Her name is L Burns. So there's a big shout out to you, L. Now at this stage you can see that I have drawn this in quite detailed. You know that I generally prefer to draw a bit in detail rather than just suggestive drawings. I'll be using watercolors. So at this stage what I'll do is let me just grab a piece of simple eraser. So what I'll do is I'll just dab that eraser. You can see I'll just slowly dab that eraser on certain areas. I'll just slowly dab that. And what it will do, it will take away the excess graphite from the surface because we will be using watercolor, so we don't want all those dark lines. It is not essential. So you can see how I'm just dabbing. I'm actually not pushing it very hard. I'm just actually dabbing it just to take away the excess of the graphite. So I'm just wiping away all those excess graphite marks. So now the drawing looks much lighter and I'll be able to use those light washes at this initial stage. So at this stage what I will do is I'll just put a light wash of color. I'll be sharing my palette with you guys so you can see that, and that's it. Once I'll be done with that, I'll meet you at the other part of this video where I'll discuss about how to add the details and how I'll just do the layering when it comes to building the painting all together. So see you then. So guys, here I'm just back again and you can see that I have laid a base layer of paint over the whole pomegranate. Now at this stage if you just compare it with the reference image, then you will see that it's lacking a lot of those reddish tone, but I didn't try to put all those reddish tone at the initial stage intentionally because those yellow lights showing through in between the texture of the surface is actually lighter in value compared to those of reddish tone. So in watercolor we tend to work from lighter values to the darker ones. I'm just using a number 3 brush, which is a round brush, and once the brush is wet it actually creates a very pointed tip, so there's no problem in putting detailed brush strokes. This tone is not yet that dark. It needed to be more darker, but for this moment I'm just putting it like this. Watercolor is like this, guys. You need to put a lot of the layer of paint one over another in order to create that effect that you are trying to capture. So now you can see that how I'm just blurring out that sharp edge. otherwise it will look like very artificial. Now for this part here, I'll just try to add some textures of the surface. I'll just use the same brush. I'll mix a bit of Crimson Lake with a bit of gamboge yellow in order to create a reddish tone, and I'll just try to dab that color. You can see how I'm just dabbing that color, and it's actually mixing with this area here because this area is still wet. So understanding this particular thing is very important. This wet on wet effect that you try to create in your work becomes very essential, guys. You can see how I'm just putting. So I'll just follow this similar step for this particular area, and you can see actually how I'm just painting this area. I'm not trying to capture it as exactly as in my reference because that is not essential, and I'm not going to put all those details at this very initial stage. I need to just keep it like this. I'll add a bit of the color in this area here. You can see, yes. So now it's looking quite okay. So I'll just follow this similar step for this particular area as well, and once this layer will dry, I'll just put the detailed areas over it. I'm using a flat brush of number 00. It's a brush with a pointed tip, as you can see, and it's quite useful. The colors that I'm using basically here are Crimson Lake. The other one is actually mixed with a bit of gamboge yellow, and the other one is a bit darker one that is actually mixed with a bit of Prussian blue, so it has got some violish tint in it. You can see how I'm just using that stroke. I'm also washing my brush repeatedly because I don't want that clotting of color on the hairs, otherwise it will just create mess all around. I just don't want that. Yeah, I'm just putting them aside, and on certain areas I'm also leaving the color underneath showing through, so it's creating a lot of contrast and interest as well. I'm trying to put those colors all together, and despite all these textures are different, but you can see a unison between them. That is very important. You need to blend all those things together so that it finds a connection, otherwise it will look isolated, and the things will not look perfect. Doesn't matter how well you paint them. And at this stage you can see that I've established this area quite well. So I'll just move to this area here. The colors in this area are quite on the brownish shade, so I'll be just mixing a bit of burnt sienna and a bit of yellow ochre to start with. I'll also mix slight amount of crimson lake. So let's see. So I'm just trying to put all those strokes like I mentioned earlier, you can see, and then I'm just dabbing it with a damp brush. The amount of the water on your brush is very important at this stage, guys. You don't want it running, and you also don't want it very less, otherwise it will be opaque on certain areas. The colors will not be having that consistency of watercolor. So keeping that in mind is very important. Now I'm connecting all these textures together so that this looks a part of the whole unit and it's not like stumbling all across the place and that there is no cohesion between them. There is a slight tint of crimson in this area here, so I'll try to establish that. It is not necessary that it has to be exactly like the reference image. The reference image should be used only for the sake of reference. You should not be trying to copy it as exactly as it is in your reference. So I'll just continue with that, and once I'll finish this, I'll try to put some colors on this area and probably we are good to go here. So at this stage you can see that, guys, I have created the texture and the color variations in this area here. So the body of the pomegranate is almost done, and now what I have to do is I have to work on this area here and these two areas. So I've shared the whole process of laying the basic colors and the overall texture. In the next video I'll just cover the process of adding the details in these areas and the remaining ones. So I hope, guys, this video was helpful, and I think it's time to wrap this video up here. See you soon with my next video. Till then, take care and keep working.
Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to support my work, then please do like, comment and share my works, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon, which is very important so that you get notified as soon as I post a new video.